What's up, YouTube? Charlie from New Bros, and I figured I'd bring you like a quick little video on like the ban list that's happening. Probably mute Family Guy first. All right. So obviously we got the three power decks. Well, two power decks, and the third that always seems to be one of them running around. We had the blue deck, Necklaws, Quillfort, and then the BA that there always seems to be one of topping, no matter where. It's kind of weird. So obviously, for the blue deck, OCG hit it the first time, putting Manjus and Senjus to 1, and Unicorn to 1. And deck still was the best. And then they just hit it now, they hit it again, and pretty sure they did something, they like hit Brio or whatever. It's a pretty big deal, so they like really hit it hard. So we don't really know how it's going to function, but it usually like Konami will like doesn't just murder a deck after one balance being out. I mean, look where Shadows, they took away Super Poly, and then they still played, and then look at Quillfort, their first format, perfectly fine, they weren't touched at all. Like, decks usually dodge the first one, and then they'll get hit, or they get hit a little bit. This deck is like really overpowering, and all the cards are not very fair. I mean, their 6 normal summon monsters are all just searchers. So, and that also just flips, and Book of Eclipse kind of abuses them. So, for the ban list, I think seeing Manju or Senju to 1 is realistic. I can't see, like, I don't think they're really going to hit any of the ritual people, or any of the monsters. I just don't really see it, because they're all very easily stopped from things like skill drain, vanities, which is, like, really relevant right now in the format. So, I think hitting, like, Senju and Manju, the search cards, to 1, and, I also think Prep, I'd be honestly shocked if Prep was still at, if Prep's still at 3, it's a card that adds a spell to the grave, then searches for basically anything, because, I mean, at the least you grab the Brio. Or you grab the Unicorn and get whatever the fuck you want out of the grave. This is really strong. So, what I'm expecting to see is Prep to 1, Manju and Senju to 1. I don't think like Brio's gonna get touched. The deck's gonna run perfectly fine if all this gets hit. It's gonna run just like OCG, except with like a little less things. But I think it's still gonna be fine if it even gets touched. Quillfort, I know they just put Scout to 1 and Sacrifice to 1, but in OCG. But I think it dodged the first one, so if it is gonna get hit, it's gonna get hit now. I can see Sacrifice going to 1 as well as Summoners Art going to 1, and then leave the deck, let it just be what it is. It's still very strong, and I think if you take those 2 cards away, you're eliminating like kind of like the more plus search factor. So I think that's like a safe way to go with it. But if I'm like looking at ban lists and like assuming that they're gonna make like these type of choices, Konami doesn't give a hell, doesn't not give a fuck at all. They literally just do whatever they want. They're just like, ah, ban this, bring this back, ban it, leave it alone. Like they don't care. So like I'm expecting for Quillfort to, if anything, Sacrifice to be hit as well as Summoners Art. And for Burning Abyss, I don't really know. I think we could be seeing Rescue Rabbit coming to 2 and Tord Guide dropping to 2, which is a thing, because then like certain decks can't like abuse Rabbit and then Tord Guide it back. Cause it's, if we all remember, that was a very unfair time. So I personally think Rabbit is gonna come back to 2, and Tord is gonna go to 2, which really doesn't hurt the deck. I mean, it obviously does because you lose Tord Guide, but it doesn't like stop what it mainly does. I mean, Scarm searches it, and at the least you can swap it out for a Crane or a Dark Illusion to add it back to your hand, or Eruption, what the fuck it's called. I just dropped my pen cap in my soup. Awesome. I love pen in my soup. So, I don't know why I have a pen in my hand anyways, it means soup. So, I think that's like what we're expecting to see. And, I mean, for things coming back, I do see Trunade coming back, but I don't, because there's so many decks that just, like, think about Tellarknights and how good when they resolve, how good it is when they resolve, Dark Lord Z monster, they make, like, their main one that bounces stuff. Like, it's really good, so just think of Trunade, and they're just, like, summon, overlay. down stuff back. This is not very fair. And I feel like if Trunade does come back, the deck is really relevant. Also, the same thing with Sylvans. I think if a card like Trunade were to come back, it would give Miracle Synchrofusion, Miracle Fertilizer a really strong thing, especially with the reprint. So I'm not too sure. Overall, I don't think anything really needs to be banned. Personally, I think Raigeki and Snatch Steal is not at all healthy for the game, but like I said, Konami never cares. I think BLS needs to finally go. Like Ben said, BLS needs to go for like the longest time. And nobody really says anything about it, but it just keeps hovering around. It's been played in almost every deck. I mean, even when Necrots came out, it was being played at once, so. But, Tink, stop. But, yeah, I think everything else that, like, happens in the ban list is, like, somewhat irrelevant, because unless it's the main 3 decks, anything coming off the ban list is most likely not going to really affect them. And anything that's going to come back, like, anything that gets put to 2 at this point, from, like, 1 to 2 or anything like that, mainly is going to help the tier 2 or lower decks. I think dragons, the E-dragons, are going to make a big showing, I guess, in this set, cause or this upcoming set, cause Return of the Bling, and they're getting a lot of dragon support. I haven't really looked into it really. I know Red Hour's got a ton of stuff, but who knows how good that is. So like I can see like the E-dragons getting banned, but at the same time like they always want things to function. So we might wait an entire format for that to get banned. But like the new Heradic card, the new Heradic like combo with the Dark Matter is really strong. I think Dark Matter is a really overpowering card, and the fact that you're making me banish potentially 9 cards on my first turn, 9 monsters, is like a really big deal for a lot of decks. So I think Dark Matter needs to be immediately put to 1, or something in the whole Mythic combo or the Heradic combo to be effective that makes it so easily made. The continuous or the equip spell that for you that know how the deck runs, the equip spell that special summons the monster that gets into like the whole combo. It's literally just a premature burial, I think. What no cost. It brings out the monster and then you overlay for Dark Matter and then you do stuff. Sounds weird because it's a card that's like always irrelevant, but I don't think that card should be at 3 if Dark Matter is at 3. It just doesn't really make sense because it lets you like it just allows you to get into everything a little unsafe. So it's just like not very fair. But besides that, those are all. It's mainly the 3 decks we're looking at. Ideally, people don't want to see the unfair cards keep going, and cards like Brio and stuff like that. So it's not really good for the game. But we do have to keep it at 3 because it is the search. I mean, you wouldn't pick a Scout. OCG did, but they have a lot of crazy reasons. Well, that's right. Stop, like.